The stock of the day is brought to you by IG, Australia's #1 CFD provider. With over 17,000 markets and extended trading hours, turn US earnings season volatility into opportunity. Get started at IG.com.
Well, the stock of the day is IDP Education. Ticker code is IEL. Now, IDP says some of its key markets are being negatively impacted by global policies. The company now expects student placements volumes to decrease around 28 to 30% over FY25. It's expecting FY25 adjusted earnings to come in between $115 to $125 million. This is coming in below previous consensus. And IDP Education has mentioned an increasingly negative international student environment in the United States, as well as further restrictions on student immigration expected in the UK, as well as some of the debate over student numbers here in Australia as well. Boy, that stock is being hammered today, down by more than 41%. So let's get a view from my guests, Pepe from Shaw and Partners and Henry Jennings from Marcus Today as well. But I'll start with you, Philip. It's very rare that you see a company down 40% on a trading update.
I was down 50% when I left the office. I used to cover this stock. It got to $38 in recent times. 38 is $4 something today. It's been hit by a perfect storm. Some people who look at small caps, this was a small cap, always get concerned when long-term management leaves the company. We had the IPO, CEO and CFO leave basically at the peak, and it's been quite challenging ever since, so they've timed it brilliantly. Not to blame Tennille, the current CEO, but she's walked into some pretty strong headwinds. There were some warning signs. Some thought it was in the price. I think some brokers had a buy on it based on it's come off a long way. We knew about challenging conditions in Canada. They've gotten worse. We knew about Australia wanting to halt international students coming. That's gotten worse. UK, who took students during COVID, has released a white paper saying maybe we don't want you anymore. And Trump, we knew what happened last time with immigration under Trump. He's in again. He's blocking students going to Harvard. He's blocking visa applications from Chinese. Their four major markets have been hit, and as you reported, student volumes down 30%. This is unheard of for this company. Testing volumes down 20%. Yeah, weighted average price has gone up. That's not going to hold. So it is. They have got some variable costs in the business, but they've had to wear it. So the EBIT guidance was down 30% versus consensus. Share price was down nearly 50%. Again, we saw some warning signs. We thought it was in the price, but there was sticker shock that came out this morning where they basically said, hey, things are tough, we'll manage costs best we can. Once market darling, there'll be material downgrades overnight. Some of the long-term supporters may capitulate and say it's too hard. It's just dead money for the foreseeable future because the issues they flagged, Trump, they're not going away anytime soon. Australia, once our third largest export, because of impact on things like property prices and domestic inflation, we don't want the students anymore, it would seem, which is crazy, but that's the message we're sending. UK, increasingly difficult. These issues aren't going away anytime soon. Share price come off a long way. Maybe that'll trigger some takeover activity if someone wants to buy a distressed asset, and they are a distressed asset, and what in hindsight will be a cyclical low. It's a very difficult game to play at the moment. There's just no need to be there in this stock. It is cheap. It is cheap. This too shall pass, but probably not in the next 6 to 12 months. So
even if you were in it, you would sell it.
I would have sold on open. I would just get out. It was such a big downgrade. You just don't need to be there. They can pull one lever, and that's reduce costs. That's great. Nobody shrinks to greatness. You can probably buy this stock in 12 months' time. In a much safer environment. You don't need to own it today.
Top shareholders being Challenger, Green Cape, State Street, North Cape City, Host Plus, Vanguard, Benelong Funds Management, as well as Aware Super and DNR Capital. So, there was previously a lot of faith being placed in this company. Henry, would you buy it as deep value, or do you wait for the first upgrade to come through?
I'd first of all like to nominate Philip as the best dressed man on Ausbiz today. He looks fantastic.
He always does.
Oh, thank
He
you.
always does. He's a very stylish man.
There you go.
IDP, there's nothing stylish about this one. I'm surprised that no one has seen this coming, to be honest. You know, this is not a black swan event. This has been coming for a while. We know this. If you could chart IDP Education against property prices in the US, the UK, Canada, and Australia, you'd probably see a complete inverse relationship. You know, the more property's gone up, the less attractive it has been for governments to try and woo those students in some respects, to put pressure on housing. This is, you know, this should not come as a surprise. After all that's happening with Harvard, after all that's been in the press about university students, I am amazed that any analyst has got any kind of recommendation on this apart from avoid like the proverbial. This has got 32 million shares shorted. So someone has made $100 million today.
Wow.
$3 on 32 million shares. Well done, guys. You've nailed this one. And it once again shows that, you know, although these shorts, we talk about them as pesky and whatever, they do get it right. You know, it's not been rocket science, this one. I know that we've looked at this one on the investment committee a number of times, and thankfully we have not put it in there. We've been tempted. I can't remember who was tempted, but some of us have been tempted by the share price being effectively so cheap. It just got 40% cheaper, and there is no way out of this hole. Let's face it, there is a war on foreign students at the moment, whether it's in the US, Canada, or here. It may not be called a war, but it's very hard to see any foreign students really embracing and going, oh, I really want to go to the US or Australia at the moment. It's just, as Philip says, it's dead money, and I love the tie. It's dead money though.
Yeah, so we're selling. IDP, the stock of the day, a firm sell from both of my guests.
The stock of the day was brought to you by IG. Turn volatility into opportunity this US earnings season with extended trading hours on over 110 key US shares. Get started at IG.com.